As Barry turns back to the crisis at hand, he begins to spin his arms rapidly, hitting the crab with a whirlwind blast that knocks it back and frees Hal. Thanks for the assist. Now, let's keep pressing this thing, Hal shouts, and both heroes are overjoyed as Supergirl returns, hitting the monster with her heat vision, driving it back to the ocean. What happened to Superman? Hal asks, and Kara shakes her head. But you're probably wondering how we got here. Well, when we last left off, Godzilla absolutely bodied Superman as he was protecting Shazam. So what's going to happen now without the Man of Steel? This is Comicstorian, where we take comic books, turn them into audio drama so that you know what's going on. This also allows you to know what to add to your collection, and if you enjoy this type of content, support us by joining up at our Patreon to get early access to our videos, or by buying our hot sauce in the link down below. Let's get into Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong, Issue 3. The Flash dashes through Central City, lightning trailing behind him as he runs across the ocean towards Iron Heights. The prison island is wrapped up in a strange fog, with massive spider legs reaching down and striding across the land. He comes to a stop as he breaks through the fog, staring up in shock at the giant Cthulhian crab that stands over the prison. Oh wow, this definitely puts me over the top. Now I've seen it all, the Flash whispers as he runs inside of the prison, where the escaped supercriminals have begun to riot. Hi guys, this is kind of an emergency situation. If you'll all kindly follow me back to your cells, the Flash says as he runs past everyone, but he's beginning to slow down from the giant monster's fog. The villains manage to hit him, and they bring him down. They crowd around the Flash, starting to pummel him, when suddenly there's a gust of wind in the prison blowing the fog away, and the prisoners look around in fear. Superman? Someone shouts, but they look up to see Supergirl floating above them. Flash springs to his feet, his speed returning as he quickly begins to knock out the villains. Thanks for clearing the smog, Supergirl, he shouts, and Supergirl nods, flying towards the Cthulhian crab. Anytime, you wrangle the convicts and I'll deal with the crab monster, she shouts. But she isn't alone as a green light quickly appears and flies towards the monster. I've got your back, Supergirl, Hal yells, and the two barrel towards the monster, but Supergirl suddenly stops short, her eyes widening. I can't hear his heartbeat. I can always hear Superman's heartbeat, but it's stopped, she gasps. Hal looks at her in shock. Superman? There's no way. That means... He begins to say, but Supergirl suddenly flies away, leaving him alone to face the monster. Back in Metropolis, Billy Batson kneels over the body of Superman as Godzilla stomps towards them, roaring. But a large shadow then appears over the young hero's head. Hang on, I'm coming! Atom Smasher shouts as he charges towards Godzilla, grabbing the monster's leg, tripping it, pushing it to the ground. Hawkgirl awakens to find the hero trying to hold the monster off, flying down to Billy and Superman. They struggle to drag Superman away, but Atom Smasher can't hold off Godzilla, and the monster bites him in the neck, throwing him to the ground. As Hawkgirl continues to move, Billy tells her to go. I'll distract it! Get Superman out of here! He tells her. The monster gets closer, and Billy says the magic word, Shazam! Allowing the magical lightning to arc through the creature. Shazam flies up, promising to lead the monster out of the city, his fist connecting with Godzilla's head, but he isn't alone. Supergirl is there, joining him in the blow, knocking Godzilla back. The Great Titan stumbles backwards, slamming into several buildings. Supergirl leaves him flying down to Superman's body. She helps Hawkgirl lift him up and asks if she can take him to the Fortress of Solitude. When they look back up, they're shocked to see that Godzilla is actually following Shazam out of the city. Their comms then come alive again, and Flash asks for assistance from Iron Heights, where he is being defeated by the supervillains and Hal is struggling against the giant crab monster. Nearby, members of the Legion of Doom have now arrived, led by Captain Cold. I want to rescue the other rogues, but we should start focusing on finding Toyman. He started this. Cheetah points out as the villains stalk towards the prison. But Black Manta waves her off, explaining that he's already put out a contract with Deathstroke. We should be able to find Toyman without a problem. So while he's fetching Toyman for us, we strengthen our numbers and let the Justice League deal with the monsters. Manta explains. Captain Cold nods, aiming his cold gun, freezing Flash with a well-aimed blast. Above them, Hal Jordan is dodging another tentacle and looks down in horror at his friend being frozen. Meanwhile, back at Themyscira, both Wonder Woman and Donna Troy have arrived to save their sisters as a great mammoth creature walks from the ocean towards their home. But both Amazon warriors manage to wrap up their lassos around the creature's massive neck, allowing them to speak with it. Beast, we are not a threat to you. We only want to stop you from hurting our people, Diana says to the creature, and Donna looks down in amazement. I can feel its agitation waning, she says, but the monster suddenly shakes its great head, knocking the Amazons loose. They land on the ground and look up to see the mammoth turning around and walking back towards the ocean. Is it leaving? Donna questions, but Wonder Woman shakes her head. Something is calling it, she whispers. Back at Iron Heights, Hal is still wrestling with the Cthulhian crab, its tentacles trying to break through his green shield. Below him, the Flash is beginning to vibrate, finally breaking free of the ice, just in time to watch as the Legion of Doom members fly away in their jet. As Barry turns back to the crisis at hand, he begins to spin his arms rapidly, hitting the crab with a whirlwind blast that knocks it back and frees Hal. Thanks for the assist. Now, let's keep pressing this thing, Hal shouts, and both heroes are overjoyed as Supergirl returns, hitting the monster with her heat vision, driving it back to the ocean. What happened to Superman? Hal asks, and Kara shakes her head. He's down. Maybe for good. Meanwhile, on Skull Island, Green Arrow is on his own, rushing through the forest as Kong is fighting against several large beasts. Anyone out there? It's Oliver. Over, Oliver says on the radio while Cyborg gets back to him asking for a situation report. Well, if I'm being honest, I could use some help on this Monster Island thing, Oliver shouts as he runs through the woods, avoiding a stampede of creatures trying to get away from Kong's fight. He fires a grappling arrow, pulling himself into a tree, but Kong slams a lizard bat creature into the ground, shaking him loose. Oliver struggles to his feet and sees Kong staring him down. Hi? He calls out, and a voice yells from above. Hey, up here! I mean you no harm, but I must ask you to back away from my friend, Supergirl says. Kong seems entranced by the blonde heroine, and he reaches a hand out for her, but she smacks him aside, not in the mood to play. I warned you, ape, she snaps. Kong bellows at her, pounding his chest. Meanwhile, Shazam has arrived in Gotham, telling the heroes the bad news about Superman. Superman is dead, he whispers. The others stare at each other in shock, with Cyborg questioning whether they should tell Lois. No, he's not dead, he's not! Batman snaps at them. Nobody says a word about this to Lois, not until I see Clark. Meanwhile, over in the desert, a strange device is beeping. Lex Luthor reaches out a hand and uncovers a massive ball with a glowing red eye. He smiles as he stares at the beeping device. Here you are, he says to himself. Is Superman actually dead? This isn't proper canon, so he could be. But make sure you like and subscribe so you can find out, because we'll be covering it right here at Comicstorian, because this story is to be continued.